Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Playeasy Warmup, the podcast where we dive into the stories, people, and places driving the sporting event and tourism industry forward. I'm your host, Kerri Shields, and today we have a pretty special episode. I am actually going to be interviewed by my coworker and friend, Jake Hughes, Jake from Playeasy, about our 2027 RFP for the Playeasy Innovators Summit. When we first started the Playeasy Warmup, it was an opportunity for us to share more about, as I said, the stories, the people, and the places within this network that we have created. There's just some unbelievable stories that we knew were important to tell. But I think that one thing that really came about with this podcast was that organizations were coming on and sharing what it is they are looking for in a potential host city. And I thought it's really exciting that organically it became a place to, once an organization submitted an RFP for Playeasy, they were able to use the Playeasy Warmup as a place to further communicate what it is they look for in hosts and learning lessons from past places they've hosted or ways that they could stand out in terms of bids. And so when we went through the 2026 bid process for our summit this summer in Ann Arbor, Michigan, hosted at the Vanguard in downtown Ann Arbor. It was our first time going through an actual bid process. And so it was the first time we were able to utilize Playeasy for our RFP. And I think it was a really cool, for me personally, it was kind of one of my proudest moments of being a part of our company, which was utilizing something that we've built that created real value. Like we would not be able to host another summit if it wasn't for using our technology. So we submitted our RFP. We were instantly connected with people, destinations, host cities that were interested in hosting our 2026 summit. We gave about 2 months of time to be able to get back with a bid, and then we selected Ann Arbor as our host in the fall of 2025. And so as we look into 2027, we thought there was no better place for us to share our learnings from that 2026 bid process, feedback that we have from going through that process. I think some of the best practices from some of the conversations that we had, bids that we received, and really why we ended up picking Ann Arbor as a host. And Jake and I touch a lot on just things that stood out with Ann Arbor specifically, but also what we're looking for in a 2027 host. There are some non-negotiables that we have that we can't include in a typical RFP, but we want to save as much time and energy as possible on both of our ends as we go through this process of selecting 2027 hosts. To touch on some things that are kind of non-negotiables and or bare minimums for cities that are interested in hosting us in 2027, we are looking for a real partner in a host. We really look as to Ann Arbor as we did Valley Forge. You are an extension of our team, and you are helping us build something. And that is really important to us to really see and understand the buy-in and the energy that a team has, a host city has, in wanting to host our event. We don't want it to be a transaction or just another event on your calendar. We want you to be a part of what it is that we're building. I think next is the buy-in of our technology. That is something that Ann Arbor has done from the beginning. We continue to evolve our technology. As users of ours know, we are constantly building, and Ann Arbor and Valley Forge both show that they're willing to buy in, not just, in purchasing a subscription or any of our add-ons, but really taking the time to beta test our product, give feedback, give us a better understanding of what it is that we need to build next. And that's a big part of what our summit is and the value that destinations, event organizers, industry partners will get from coming to our summit is you're a part of the conversation of what it is that we are building next. And then obviously things that are important, just the venue, accessibility, the support overall. So if you are interested in hosting our 2027 summit, as of right now, our RFP will be out there. And so we love to connect, love to host, connect with us in Playeasy, show us you're interested, and hopefully you'll get a lot out of this conversation. I really enjoyed being able to reflect on just going through that process and what it is that we are looking for in future hosts. I hope that maybe you get something out of it, maybe some feedback of things that you could do better, maybe things that might help you stand out more in bids. And from an event organizer's perspective, being able to understand the value, not just in utilizing Playeasy for our RFPs and the ability to connect, but also take advantage of our podcast and our microphone that we have to be able to further communicate what it is that you're looking for, and really be at the forefront of these conversations that are continuing to move our industry forward. So, with that, I hope you enjoy my conversation with Jake from Playeasy. Today's episode is sponsored by the Playeasy Innovators Summit, happening this summer, June 15th through 17th, 2026, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, at the Vanguard Ann Arbor. The Innovators Summit is Playeasy's annual gathering of destination leaders, event organizers, and industry partners. 3 days of hands-on innovation, real conversations, and practical ideas you can bring back to your community. Ann Arbor is a city that knows sports and knows how to host. Just 20 minutes from the airport, it's easy to get to and get around, with top-tier sports facilities, a walkable downtown, and 400-plus restaurants perfect for connecting outside of sessions. Between meetings, take in the energy of the University of Michigan, explore the Huron River, and be sure to stay for a private tour of the Big House on our final evening together. If you're thinking about innovation, technology, and what's next for hosting, we'd love to see you in Ann Arbor this June.
Hello, everyone. We are reversing roles today. Jake from Playeasy is going to be on the mic interviewing Kerri about the Playeasy Innovators Summit, about the 2026 bid process, what we're looking forward to this year as we release our 2027 RFP for next year. Kerri, welcome to your own podcast.
Jake, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm excited for this conversation.
Yeah. So I know we've been planning this for a while, and I'm looking forward to getting this out there and for destinations to start bidding on 2027. Super excited for Ann Arbor, though, obviously, as well. So jumping into that experience and going back to that bid process, I guess when you opened that bid process for 2026 Innovators Summit, what was the vision for a host city and what criteria were you looking for most?
Yeah, definitely. So, we hosted our first Innovator Summit last July in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. And I would say going into picking who our 2025 host would be at the time, we had a great partnership with Valley Forge Sports. They were early adopters to our technology and really leaned into what it is we were building, not just on the lead side of Playeasy, but really buying into everything that we had coming out. And so I think just for our first summit, it was organic in terms of it felt like a very easy place to start. They were such a great group to work with. They really felt like they were an extension of our team. It was our first time running a summit, and so we were really new to this space, and so we knew we needed the experts, I should say, to really help us go into the right direction for our first one. And so we were super happy with how it went. The team was amazing, not just the on the sports side, but the overall Valley Forge tourism group. It was a great location. We had an unbelievable first experience, learned a ton. But I think what we mostly got out of it was that it was a success enough to be able to do it again. And so we started that bid process. The summit ended end of July, and we were already starting to think, okay, what do we want for 2026? And it was the first time for us as a team that we were able to utilize Playeasy to actually connect with future hosts. And it was a pretty surreal experience. We've spent 8 years building this company, and to use it as a tool for us to select our 2026 host city was just a really cool experience. I can speak personally now to the unbelievable value that our technology provides to event organizers. And so we put out that bid at the end of August. I remember all of us sitting on a call and pushing submit, and then interest coming back immediately. And our RFP selection process, it's a 5-step process where you give your event details, the name of your event, when you're looking to host your event, where in the country you want to host that event, what type of event it is. And for us, obviously, it's not exactly a sport, but it's a conference. And we were looking for a space anywhere within the US that we were open to. And so it immediately connected us with over 200 cities across the country that could potentially host our event. And so, yeah, that was the starting piece for it. So I would say the next step of, okay, now that we're connected with all these cities that could potentially host our event, now how do we connect and figure out what would be the best location for our
Hmm.
2026 Innovator Summit?
Awesome. And so as you were evaluating all of that, what was the criteria that you were looking for? So like you see all these submissions come through, what's catching your eye and what initially was most important when evaluating these hosts?
Yeah. So I think for us, the vision was really to find a destination that didn't just want to host an event, but really wanted to lean into what the Innovator Summit is all about. And so pushing the industry forward, we were looking for a partner that understood the experience and the importance of the overall visitor experience and not just the logistics. I think we wanted a group that felt similar to Valley Forge in terms of building something that could be really great and not just being there for a few answers to our calls, but feeling like they're building this summit alongside of us. I also wanted someone who wanted to collaborate, bring ideas to the table, and really use the summit as a platform to showcase what's possible in destination marketing and event experiences from a criteria standpoint. So the bare minimum logistics of what we knew that we needed was, accessibility, the venue. So whether that be a hotel space, whether it be a convention space, whether it be a unique space like a sports complex, and support. But I think what stood out to most of us was the groups that really took the time to understand what it was that we were looking for and really leaned into the creativity and willingness to think differently to bring our second innovator summit to life.
Totally. Yeah. So then I guess as you started to receive these proposals, what stood out, I guess, positively? Like what did you enjoy most about receiving some of these and what were some of the conversations that you had with destinations during this process?
Yeah, I think for me personally, I loved going through the process because my role, within Playeasy historically hasn't been as customer facing in terms of meetings. And so being able to really connect deeper and be on the event organizer side of things to understand firsthand like what event organizers go through when selecting a host city, I think it was just a really cool experience to go through. I love being able to get to know not just our partners, but more of these cities that we work with and have built really great relationships with. It was great for us to see what bids really stood out. And so, in terms of making the presentations so that they weren't static presentations, but really showed the creativity and the buying in of our technology as a whole. I think one thing that we knew we wanted as a non-negotiable was that our our 2026 host city has to buy into all of our technology. And so not just being a customer of ours and utilizing us for destination marketing and leads and all of the things that historically people know us for as Playeasy, but also buying into Compass, which is our new AI solution for the visitor experience. And so we knew that we needed a partner that was ready to fully buy into what we were coming out with at the end of 2025, going into 2026. So
Yeah.
overall, it was a super cool experience to go through. I think it made us empathize more with event organizers in terms of just how to select a city. I think it helped us understand the destination side of things more in terms of, we always get asked questions of why am I not winning this bid? Or what could I do better within this RFP process to build a better relationship? And now to have tangible ideas and feedback that we can point to, I think was really unique and something that we've found a lot of value in just utilizing our own technology for this process.
Yeah, I know we were talking about how, we wouldn't even know where to start without Playeasy's technology. So what to get into the nitty-gritty details of it, how did Playeasy's technology help you evaluate some of these submissions and start to organize things as well? I think it'd be helpful for, event organizers to hear that as well as the destinations just learning what it's like on the other end.
Totally. Yeah. So I'll say we historically, when we started Playeasy, we were event organizers, but running more like smaller camps and shooting clinics. Ryan and Sean with their special teams, putter kicking, long snapping events. But none of us have had experience in terms of how to build a summit from the ground up. And so Playeasy's technology provided us with an unbelievable starting point that within a minute of creating this RFP on this 5-step process that we have, it automatically connected us with over 100 host cities that could potentially host our event. And so without Playeasy, what do you do? It was, searching Google or figuring out who the right contact is for a city or figuring out who is the decision maker, even understanding is that city close to an airport or details that were crucial in terms of understanding who these cities were. So utilizing Playeasy was just a great starting point for, okay, now we have this group of destinations that could potentially host the 2026 Innovators Summit. Now what? Okay, then it's the conversation piece. And so we've said it over and over again, but we are just the connection piece. And so, however, you want to handle the communication outside of that is always up to however the destination or the event organizer likes to do their business the way they do it. And so, there were some destinations that we talked, all of our communication was directly through Playeasy, which made it super easy because it was in one place. And for us to really track, it's not just me that is leading the charge of building this summit, but there's a whole team of us that were able to access those conversations, the back and forth, the setting up of calls. But then there are some cities that like to do email or like to make phone calls. And so internally, we were able to just stay organized in terms of the conversations and the setup for these calls. But once again, without Playeasy, there's zero chance we would have had the time or the resources to be able to scout and understand and figure out who could potentially host our 2026 Innovator Summit.
Yeah, and I mean, like you mentioned, you're getting a lot of responses of people being interested and you have to narrow it down. So, what pieces of feedback would you have for maybe some of the destinations that didn't stand out quite as much? Like, I'm going to get into, what stood out most about Ann Arbor, but I think first it'd be helpful for people to hear what feedback you might have based on all the submissions you received.
Yes. So I should say the other big piece of Playeasy that made it easy. So once that RFP was submitted and it immediately went to the dashboards of over 100, 200 potential host cities, we were able to see right away if a city was interested just by them letting us know, hey, we're interested in this event. They could easily do that through their dashboard on their Playeasy profile, or if they're not interested. And for a lot of destinations, it was, hey, we're not able to do it this year, so we declined, but we'd love to have the conversation on 2027. So it really just gave us a better scale of who could potentially be interested in, but who do we need to think about in the future to still have that, make sure that conversation was going. And so from there, I would say a lot of the feedback that I would give, one is communication. I think communication within any organization and partnership is key. And so I think destinations that reached out right away once they said they were interested, followed up, made a phone call with us, and then communicated, had constant communication from there on. I would say is really important because we have very limited resources. This is just a part of what our company as a whole does. And so being able to have an efficient process with potential partner, I think was really crucial. I think something that we knew we wanted was that we want to work directly with the host city. So we want to work directly with the DMO, the sports commission, and feel like they are an extension of our team. And so I think there were some instances where the RFP went out, a host city said they were interested, and then all of a sudden I was getting emails from 20 different hotels within that city with no context as to who this person was, or if I should be talking to them, or if that destination would even be involved in any of the conversation moving forward. And I think that that just made our job a lot harder because then one, I have 20 more emails to respond to, not even knowing if the destination would be a part of it. But we really wanted a destination that communicated with us directly and really acted as that middleman of, hey, let's have this conversation. Let me understand what exactly it is you are looking for. And then we'll figure out and source from there some good potential sites that we could host this event. And so I think just right there, the communication and the speaking to us directly as a destination,
Hmm.
because we want that partnership and we want to build with someone who feels like a real partner in this. Then I think when it came to the bids and the overall presentation, I think there were some destinations that went above and beyond in terms of the presentation that was very catered to our event specifically. And so we are the Innovators Summit. And so our summit is around innovation and technology and growing the industry. And those are key themes that we want incorporated within our whole event experience. And so cities that really bought in and communicated that they understood who we are, what we're trying to build, and why people should come to the summit, those small details really went a long way for us because we felt like this was important to them as well. And it's something that they really wanted to be a part of building. And so I use this example, but when I was being recruited for college, I remember colleges would send interest forms out, and one time one came and just said, "Dear name," and I was like, "Okay, well, this is just a this is just a copy and
Blanket.
pasted blanket letter that's going to every freshman and girls basketball player in high school." And so any presentation that looked like it was just another blanketed uh, bid proposal that had nothing specific to our summit as a whole. I think it really doesn't take a whole lot of work to be able to cater it to this specific situation or event. I
Especially if
like
you're at
we
the
use
proposal
can
stage. Yeah.
totally, and that I mean we use Canva as a company, and Canva's evolved tremendously over the course of the last few years, but even just inserting our logo and showing like, "Hey, this is specific to the Innovator Summit," or this is something like a summary in the beginning of the proposal that says like, "We understand that this is what the Playeasy Innovator Summit's about. This is, per our conversation, we want to be an extension of your team. We are committed to buying into Playeasy's technology, and we want to incorporate the technology within the whole event experience." So something that really showed that not only our event was something they wanted to bring, but also that they were fully invested into what we were building with the Innovator Summit.
Yeah. It's sending the bid off to a bunch of hotels and then thinking you've done your job is just, I don't know, not the best way of doing business in terms of like our feedback, I would say, for wanting that personalized response and knowing the destination cares. It coming from the
To-
destination directly and them being that main contact that we're in touch with is definitely the preferred method. So totally agree there. So what did stand out about Ann Arbor's proposal that did seal the deal? I know we received a bunch of others, but obviously Ann Arbor is who we chose. So what stood out most?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll just say there were some unbelievable bids and host cities that we went through the process with. We did take any city that was interested, we took a call with. And so it was great just to be able to go through that full process and have a lot of learnings for going into this 2027 bid. But I would say for Ann Arbor specifically, they have been great partners of ours since the start of Playeasy and when we started getting into the destination side of things with our business. And because they have been great partners, they were trusted partners. They have been beta testers of ours for the past few years. They've given unbelievable feedback and have been great partners in terms of what we are building next. And people will probably hear this at the summit, but Catherine, who was responsible for their website at Ann Arbor, was one of our first beta testers for Compass, our AI solution. And the first few times she used it, it was terrible. It was it was terrible, but she took the time to really give feedback, share why it was terrible, what she thought we could do better, and really helped. she was really a big part in what we now have as Compass today. And so we knew that Ann Arbor, Destination Ann Arbor, and Ann Arbor Sports would be fully invested to utilizing our technology to incorporate within our 3-day summit. I think we also wanted that destination to be an extension of our team. And so right now we have biweekly calls. And so we wanted to know that that was something that they were invested in having because no one knows the city better than the DMOs. And so
Hmm.
we want them to be a part of the whole planning process. How do we make this the best event experience? How do we figure out how to best showcase your city? How do we push people to all of your local coffee shops, restaurants? How do we get your members included within those 3 days? And so I think just those three things, the buy-in on the technology side of things, the partnership and really feeling like an extension of our team, the willingness and commitment to make this summit something great, and also the willingness to just be creative. We are so open in terms of ways that we can make this summit better, and we want them to feel like they could give us, feedback, advice, their guidance, and full buy-in to what it is that we are building.
Yeah, and I would say too, just the way you treat people as well. I remember when you guys brought up Ann Arbor as a potential option. I remember it was one of my first conferences. It was just me there at the conference too. Had the Playeasy shirt on, and I remember I never met their team at all because I think Sean had met them, and then Brenna and Sarah were communicating with them as customers. So I had never met them, and I was at the conference, and they kind of pointed me out and like, "Hey, Playeasy, like we love you guys," and like introduced themselves to me, and uh, that meant a lot because I just had never met them, and they were very kind to me as someone they had just never met. They had no incentive to be kind or share positive feedback, but that was cool too. So I think that that was definitely um, not important. But I'm saying just like the way you treat people matters, and you never know what can come back around just because maybe I don't have a ton of say in the plays the inverse of it, but I still did meet them that one time, and they weren't expecting that kind of interaction to have had an impact on me 4 years later.
Totally. And I think it's one of the big lessons just in business in general is just how much those small things really matter in the long term,
Mhm.
especially when you are looking for a partner in building something. And I think their proposal wasn't just about hosting, it was about partnering. And I think that they showed that not just with their proposal, but with who they are as people, their investment, their time, their energy, and the clear vision for how they could help elevate the experience for everyone involved.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, the city itself and the qualities, the intangibles about Ann Arbor matter. So what were those exactly that beyond just the proposal itself, the willingness to work with us, all of that convinced you that Ann Arbor was a good host option for 2026?
Yeah, I would say first off, there was just a level of energy and responsiveness and genuine excitement from the Ann Arbor team that really stood out. They, from the start, really understood what we were trying to build, and it felt like a true partnership from the beginning, not just a transaction or another event that would come through the city. I think those intangibles matter a lot when you're bringing something like this to life, especially something that's only in its second year. I think obviously I'm wearing my Ann Arbor hat right now, but it is an unbelievable city. We were able to go on a site visit, which was really important for us as well to understand the city and how we can make it the best experience for all of the attendees coming as possible. And so having a great downtown, an unbelievable college town, right now we're filming this on the day that the women's basketball team will be playing for a berth to the Final Four. The men will be in the Final Four in Indy this weekend, and their men's hockey team will also be in the Frozen Four, which is just really cool to feel the excitement and to feel like I'm not a bandwagon fan, but kind of feel like we've all become
Something
kind
about that blue and
of
yellow.
fans. But I think that was really attractive as well. And something I forgot to mention with Valley Forge Sports, we ended up having a fam tour that Valley Forge hosted. And so in alignment with the summit, the following day, Valley Forge hosted X amount of event organizers to showcase their city. So I think that was something else that was important to us, knowing that Ann Arbor would have the buy-in to say, hey, we want these event organizers to come here and we want to be able to show off Ann Arbor to them in conjunction with the summit. So that was something else that really stood out as well. They immediately loved that idea and wanted to take advantage of that time. Um, yeah, and I think once again, just the buy-in of the technology. We just went on another site visit last week, and we were able to connect with not just their website team, but their CEO was present and shared excitement for us coming to Ann Arbor, which is huge. Just to know that it's not just the sports people, but it's the whole organization that's excited about us coming in. It was their
Hmm.
marketing team. How can we better market the summit? What kind of content can we get together that makes it feel like everyone coming to this summit is important? And so them really aligning with our goals and our mission and who we are as people, I think was really important to us as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that flows well into my next question, which obviously they're going to be using Compass to enhance that visitor and attendee experience. But how do you see Ann Arbor enhancing that visitor experience for everyone that's going to be coming to the summit through Compass, but also through some of the other things that you've been able to witness through the site visits you've gone on?
Yes. So right now, Compass is live on not only Ann Arbor Sports website, but Destination Ann Arbor's website. And so they're already starting to utilize Compass within all of their events. And Compass will be a big part of the Playeasy Innovators Summit in terms of communication leading up to the event, where people should book their hotels, if they wanna plan dinner while they're there, if they want to come a day early and do a brewery tour or whatever it is that they wanna do. Ann Arbor's done a great job in figuring out, okay, what is the best content that we can put together that will not only push to their audience, but also flow through Compass, as we get to June, and coming up. And then we will have QR codes throughout the Vanguard Hotel in Ann Arbor, where we will be hosting the summit, that will incorporate the local experience. And so getting people not just, to stay at we encourage the Vanguard is a beautiful hotel and their food is unbelievable. So please, we encourage people to eat there and at our bars, but we also want people to really experience the local entities of Ann Arbor. And so that's also getting the buy-in from a lot of their members that they have. And so we've been able to meet with their membership team and say, hey, how could we bring in maybe some local restaurants or stores or groups of people that we can not only showcase, what we're doing with Compass and Playeasy as a whole, but how do we get them more involved and wanting to learn about what is going on within the sports and events and overall event experience?
Awesome. Yeah, what do you hope the attendees take away then from coming to Ann Arbor?
I mean, what most excites me about, I guess there's three things that I would say for why people should come to the summit is one, it gives you the chance to be a part of the future of this industry. Our 2025 summit, it was a room full of people who were clearly invested into the growth and innovation within the sports tourism and events industry, especially now as we get into the broader DMO space. Something about us is that we are a tech company, we are a network, but we really listen to our customers. And so it is a chance for decision makers and people who are really important in this space to be able to share, what problems are you having? How can we better utilize our technology to enhance the visitor experience? Or what should we be building next? And we'll have our whole team there, our unbelievable CTO. He is hands on and so wants to hear what this industry is going through. So it really gives all attendees the chance to be a part of that conversation and where we are going and what we will be building next. We're also going to have some really quality organizations coming to this event. We're probably going to have about 125, 150 people there, about 25 to 30 really great event organizers that it's not going to be a typical conference in terms of, you know, speed dating or meetings, but we will have a Shark Tank like experience on our day 3 that all of the event organizers that will be attending will be able to showcase and share more about their organization and what it is they're looking for, and really just come away with some quality connections from those 3 days. And so, just the ability to walk away with some really quality leads and deeper relationships. And lastly, I think it's just going to be an unbelievable experience. We have a pickleball space rented out at Wolverine Pickleball. So we will have that. We will have teachers there to, if you haven't experienced pickleball, to teach you how to play. We'll also have, outdoor games like bocce and beach volleyball and drinks, food, a fun time. On Tuesday night, we'll be exploring downtown Ann Arbor. I think we have some fun things up our sleeves in terms of just getting people to see all that Ann Arbor is about. And so that'll be really fun. And then we will end it with a night at the big house. So I had the opportunity to go to Michigan's football stadium on our first site visit. And I can truly say it was one of the most surreal sports experiences that I had. It is, I believe, the largest. I need to get my facts right. But in terms of football stadiums in the country, and just the history and the feel of how special that stadium is. I'm just so excited for people to see it, explore it. We'll have the whole
Yeah.
stadium to ourselves that night. We'll have the whole catering, fun, food. But yeah, just leaving with an unbelievable event experience that I think, you'll never forget. And I am just really excited for people to experience it the way that we've been lucky enough to experience Ann Arbor over the last few months.
Yeah, and I've yet to go, so I'm having FOMO about missing out on
Yeah.
all the tours, big house and everything. So I'm gonna be experiencing it for the first time as well. So I'm excited. You're getting me hyped for it.
Yeah. Good. No, and I mean, I've fully bought into, with my gear and everything, but
I
I
know, I need to
I
get some gear.
do yeah. They have great gear. They have some great bookstores too, which is
To
something
buy it
else,
there.
yes, to experience, but
So as we open up the 2027 bid process as we speak, and if you're listening to this, if you end up submitting, comment, listen to the pod. We'll know you listen to the full thing. Maybe we'll give you some brownie points. But is there anything in particular you want people to know as they start to submit and review that RFP?
I think hopefully this conversation got a lot across as to what's really important to us. I think going into 2027, I'm excited that we are a little bit more ahead of schedule than we were last year. So we'll have a little bit more time to go through this whole bid process. I think first off, it's communication. We're a pretty easy group to work with, but this is not our full-time job creating this conference, but it's something that's really important to us, and we wanna continue to see it grow going into 2027, and so just being on top of communication with us, is important. I think showing your willingness to buy into our technology. I think we have over 50 destinations that now have Compass on their own websites. And so it's not something that you have to have immediately right now, but showing an investment into, hey, this is something that we are going to be utilizing within our visitor and event experience moving forward. So showing that at least it's an investment, I think is really important to us, because like we said, we are gonna be utilizing our technology throughout the whole summit. There'll be a lot of conversation about best practices and ways that we can really learn from one another, within those few days. I think just an investment of being a part of our team. No one knows your cities like you do, and so we really want to build the 2027 Innovators Summit right alongside of you and to feel like you're really a part of what we are building. And so whether that be our biweekly calls or just showing a real investment into a partnership and not just a transaction is really important to us. Another big piece is having some sort of presence at the 2026 summit.
I say that.
um, this is something that is really important to us because it's really hard to understand, what we're building is something different than any other conference that's out there. And so we really want our 2027 host city to have a great understanding of what it is that we're building and not just something, an event you just want to host to put on your calendar, but really leaning into everything that we are building around the Innovator Summit. And so Am I missing anything, Jake? I know I'm
No,
speaking
I
a
was
lot
going to
here.
mention attending always helps, especially just being able to learn from what's successful, what's not. I think could help you personalize your proposal eventually at some point as well. And I would say too, we prefer destinations to reach out, not hotel partners, and not hotel partners through LinkedIn as well.
Totally. I would say that you might be shocked. We do get a lot of emails. So it is, I would say that that is one of the biggest learning pieces. And I think on the personalization side of things, it doesn't have to be something crazy. It really doesn't,
Hmm.
but just showing that it's something that, you're excited about, that you're energized about, and that your city as a whole wants to be a part of. Obviously, we are in the sports events and tourism space, but our organization as a whole is getting more into the DMO space. And so I think showing a commitment that this is not just something their sports team is going to be involved in, but something that
Totally.
their marketing, their website people, not to call people by website people, but their tech people, the people on the overall event experience side of things. I think it's something that we want full buy-in, and for people to know that this is an investment that we're making a part our whole organization, not just one sector of the organization.
And for event organizers who might be new to RFPs or might think that their event is very unique and that an RFP isn't a good fit for them, what advice would you have from them having been on that event organizer side of things?
Yes. So that's something we hear a lot from event organizers. And I can say, going through this process, I mean, it excited me because obviously using our own technology and showing and proving the real value of something that we've built, I think was so cool to see, because there would be no 2026 summit without Playsy's technology. And so I think the first thing I would say is that it doesn't have to be a typical RFP. Playeasy is the connection point. It is the instant connection to be able to say what it is you're looking for, the bare minimum requirements that you need, and immediately getting connected with all of the decision makers that could potentially host your event. And so from there, from that connection point, however it is you want to deal with the communication outside of that is up to you. And I think a big part of why we started the Playeasy Warmup podcast and why we wanted to have this conversation is that we know that there's a lot more details that can go into an RFP. And so being able to use, this podcast and share our bare minimum requirements, our non-negotiables, what it is that we are exactly looking for in terms of a host, not just you know, a venue that could host 200 people. That's something you can put in there, but you can communicate the importance of partnership and a long-term buy-in of what it is that we're building. And so I think being able to not just use Plazy for our RFP, but also being able to use a longer form piece of content like this to be able to share and showcase everything that we're looking for in a potential host. Because as much as we don't want to waste time, we don't want to waste anyone else's time. We know that destinations have a million things going on, and so being able to use this avenue to communicate more in depth of what it is that we're looking for, so that destinations are better prepared for that next conversation. And so I think from
Yeah.
an event organizer perspective, it's hey, Plazy is an unbelievable tool to get you in front of the decision makers. It is a shopping experience to be able to see potentially what it is you need, you want, and want out of a partnership. I think another thing is we're hosting a summit, so it's not a sport, and I think our technology is very flexible to any type of event that you want to run. And so whether that be a music festival or a concert or a summit like ours, it is totally flexible. It just puts you in front of the right people that are making the decisions to host your event. So I think for us, it was just a great experience to be able to use it and to be able to say firsthand, no, this is a game changing technology solution that puts you in the right place and saves you time. Time is money and just makes the overall process of finding a host that much easier. So Easy's in the
Awesome.
name for a reason. Jake, what are you most looking forward to about the
Yeah.
summit?
What I am most looking forward to about the summit would be definitely seeing the big house and playing pickleball because I'm just a sports junkie. But in terms of the actual summit itself, I think getting multiple perspectives in the room from not just the sales side, but also the marketing, the website side of things, and getting people to really collaborate and be able to shape the future of destination marketing is pretty cool, I think, because when you think about what we do, it's working backwards from what our customers need. So going to the summit and working alongside not just one partner, but multiple in the room and sharing ideas is extremely important for us to be able to build that. And if you go and you contribute towards that, you're essentially, helping us build the future of our technology, which, as we hope, is the future of the tourism industry as a whole for DMO technology. So
I love it. Can't wait for you to crush me in pickleball, but it'll be it'll be a good time. And
I don't know. We'll
if
see
you
about
know
that. I've
our
heard you're pretty good.
team, yeah, yeah. If you know our team, we are just as fun as we are, hard workers. So it's going to be just a fun experience overall. And if you are interested in hosting, please connect with us through Playeasy. Hopefully, a lot of you have clicked interested by now once hearing this. But also, if you are interested in joining us for the 2026 summit, our event is marketed on Playeasy. It should be one of the first events you see on our event marketplace. But please feel free to reach out at support@playeasy.com. We're happy to send you more information, registration info, all centralized in one place. We're utilizing Playeasy as well to market our event. And so you're able to do everything you need to, all the information you need in one place. So Jake, I really
Yes,
appreciate you taking the time and us
of
switching roles. I
course.
think we should do this more often.
Yes, it's fun. Yeah. Awesome. Well,
Yep.
looking forward to 2026, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Let's do it.
Awesome. Let's do it. All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Talk soon. Bye.